So, we have to possible root tree this guy, which is a bummer for us because there's just I feel like there's so many things. So let's just go. DNA test proved that he was related to Guy Hudson. He's from Portland, which is weird because we already know from this that Rubie is from Portland, her hometown of Portland. She did go to Mid-Eastern, not Midwestern. So maybe that's where I'll start. Rubie Spratt. Rubie Spratt graduated top of her class from Mid-Eastern's Legal College. Her valedictorian speech was somewhat controversial at the time, as it was quite serious with a heavy focus on wealth inequality. This didn't go over well with the predominantly middle to upper class audience in attendance. The editor of the Heterold at the time said Rubie, unsatisfied by simply earning her place at Mid-Eastern with a full scholarship, went on to earn a captive audience of her peers with a perfect GPA. It felt like the ideal occasion for a celebration of an undoubtedly incredible individual. However, by the end of her speech, there were many in the audience that wished that neither of those events had transpired. It was a passionate attempt to use her soapbox to proselytize her fellow students and their parents into the religion of poverty. But unfortunately, judging by the silence, they remained unconverted. This is her motive. I'm gonna do this. Rubie. Info. Yeah. Can I move this? Go here, and now I'm gonna go. This is her motive. I'm like 100% certain. We're just gonna delete this. I don't think there's any relevance there. Okay. So that's something. Rubie, unsatisfied. Okay. So that's one piece of information. So this would explain, because Rubie Spratt, where is it? Spider search. She grew up in foster care. Promotion allowed gas customers, and so was what's his name? So was Five Piece, right? Oh yes, the Fountain of Youths. Originally conceived by Rubie Spratt, an alumni of the foster care system. More business side on. 100 businesses participate. The Foster Fountain. A small park in Portland. Let's look at the Portland Times or whatever. Portland, whatever. Portland Telegraph. Foster Fountain. Local teen making change for foster care system. According to the article, Rubie Spratt grew up in the foster care system, was apparently the valedictorian of her school, and was a Girl Scout. Oh, I already read this one. People expected to cost coins. Okay. The Fountains of Youth. The Fountain of Youths. Apparently, unveiling the fountain, the mayor of Portland made a speech, and there were performances by multiple local entertainers, as well as a ribbon cutting, where speakers, with the exception of the mayor, were foster care alumni. Dirty Davey was listed as one of the musicians. Okay, I found this before. So, yes, that solidifies that Rubie was close friends with Dirty Davey. And so she falsified his DNA test. Roottreemania. Jane Doe Roottree. Referred to her daughter. The name Anonymom was not self-inflicted. Wait, hold on. Did I ever look at the News Time article? I did. Okay. My Sonic is here. I'm gonna eat my food real quick. All right, done eating my food. Okay, I need to find more info about this dude. They were unable to track down his father. I mean, if the implication is that his father was Guy Hudson, of course they couldn't track him down because he was dead. More poser than my action figure collection. She overdosed when he was 16. I want to read more information about... Where was it? Jane Doe Roottree, but did not coin the phrase anonymom before came out TV interview. She wished to remain anonymous. The anonymous woman claimed to have had an affair with Guy Hudson while she was working as his secretary. She and another woman hired at the same time during a transition period. Fuck. Again, I need to figure out who Anonymom was based on this. Let's look at the company records. My assumption was that it was Lisa Lewis and Valerie Ewing, because this hint here cuts off everyone before this, because these were Zach's people. Are there any others that it could be? I guess Emily Seinfeld. Oh no, that's Farm and Manufacturing. Okay, so it could be Lisa Lewis and Valerie Ewing. Or Corinne Schwartz and Beatrice Watts. Okay. Corinne Schwartz comes up a few articles from local news stations in Pennsylvania. Some of the people who were attempting to track down Anonymom were harassing her. She recently had to take a leave of absence because people showed up at the car dealership where she works. She is begging people to stop accusations so that she can get back to a normal life. In every article you find, the journalists involved have independently verified that she is not an Anonymom. Okay. That did not appear here. So, okay. Angela Ingham. I already looked that up. Lisa Lewis and Valerie Ewing. Nothing for her. Oh, Lisa Lewis. Yeah, nothing for her. Catherine Garrett. Nothing. Okay. Okay. Corinne Schwartz. Corinne Schwartz resides in Pennsylvania, though it appears she lives beyond Butler County limits. After she was named in a national tabloid, people have come to her place of work and have accused her of being an Anonymom. The article explains it's impossible for her to be an Anonymom because her only child is still in middle school. Unless her son's gestation period was approximately 10 years, it doesn't appear like Corinne could have been involved in any potential affairs on your tree. Okay. Okay. Piketty is not afraid to expose details. Wait, hold on. Named in a national tabloid. Then why didn't she show up? Okay. Story of Anonymom under the headline Anonymom the Anonicon. They said Anonymom worked as a manager at a department store in North Carolina and that her daughter's name was Courtney May. So the woman that vouched for her famous cover story, they didn't identify news time, perhaps to avoid being sued, is named Corinne S. Okay, Corinne Schwartz. So Courtney May Schwartz. Filed for bankruptcy, the article speculates that Anonymom and Corinne were in on it together and they might have been lovers. Piketty is not a credible publication. Their information wasn't particularly actionable. Very few people seem to notice or care. I want to keep a timeline of this. So, if Corinne Schwartz is not an Anonymom, am I understanding this right? Hold on. Anonymom was a manager at a department store in North Carolina, and her daughter's name is Courtney May. The woman that vouched for her famous cover story, they didn't identify, is named Corinne S. Oh, okay, so hold on. Corinne Schwartz is not an Anonymom. Anonymom and Corinne were in on it together and speculates they might have been lovers. No. Guy Hudson's wife was a lesbian. right? They never had. So if there was an affair, Courtney May is her first name. So wait, would this be with... I don't know. That's what I should be looking up. How did that not copy? That was weird. Okay. Corinne Schwartz had filed for bankruptcy. So she wasn't getting paid off. Okay. I'm gonna make a guess. Beatrice Watts, which makes her Courtney May Watts. She was a secretary. Okay. These are smoking guns for her. Okay. Okay. Courtney May has a simple website with black text on a white background and a few images. From the view counter, you can tell you're one of only a few hundred people who have visited it. She's not shy about claiming she is Jane Doe Roottree. Okay. If I searched this, would it have come up? No. As proof, she's posted an unobscured cover from the time she was featured on News Time. So there's a different picture of herself that appears to be a wedding photo. The website seems to be created in defense of her mother, who has been the target of public scrutiny. The true story of Jane Doe Roottree, courtesy of Courtney May Newton, formerly Watts. Okay. Daniel Newton and Courtney May Watts. Oh, I think we got it, guys. Oh, we are so close to sealing the fucking deal, y'all. Daniel Newton. I am not going to fill this in yet because I want to make sure I have all the clues first before I'm able to do this. I'm very close to cracking this, I think. Everyone has everything wrong. My mom approached the Roottrees before 5Ps was ever on the cover of News Time. Nobody at the Roottree company took us seriously. They only listened to us after we appeared on the TV and magazines. So there's a scanned letter from the Rubie legal group. Dear Courtney May's mother. Beatrice. In very polite legal terms, it seems to accuse her of exploiting their name in order to leave the Rootrees alone. It's dated from a few weeks before the 5Ps article appeared. Courtney May also discusses her mother's magazine feature in more detail. Do you know how difficult it was to convince anyone to tell her story? My mom didn't want to show her face because everyone in the media we approached assumed she was lying. Because her story was just like 5P's, but my mom's story was first. Mom was advised by Ryan and Cork. Is an unremarkable law firm based in North Carolina. Winston Ryan and Gregory Cork. Mostly handles local case recently represented Anonymom. Their website has been a section of the case's DNA test results that proved Jane Doe Roottree was not a Roottree. Okay, hold on. That's the only way Newstime would agree to it and help her get on TV, but it's not true. Our story was first. Courtney's defense continues. At the end of the page, she discusses the DNA test to defend her mother's character. My mom is amazing. She's the nicest woman in the world. She has diabetes and works at a department store, but still managed to help pay for my apartment in the big city so I could stay with my high school sweetheart. I got a degree in nursing, so I learned all about DNA in college, but I'm beginning to think it's all a lie. My mom is 100% confident that there's nobody else who could be my father. Either they did the test wrong or DNA is complete BS. She is not a liar. Oh, hell yes. DNA Tico. Adrian Rowland. No chance that a mom's daughter was Courtney May was a Roottree. It listed the DNA from a Jane Doe was tested against the DNA of Bonnie Kellogg, née Hudson, Guy's twin sister. Ryan and Cork, who are representing Anonymon, have confirmed that the sample they sent to the Roottrees was definitely Courtney May's hair. DNA Tico. Donate Co. Donatico. DNA testing company. DNA testing is a relatively new phenomenon. According to their site, Donatico was responsible for the DNA test that proved Felix Fellows was a Roottree, and even used it as an example on how DNA test looks. They use it to provide some information about the process. Whenever they take a sample of a person, they put the name of the person on the test according to their legal ID, which is why it says David instead of Felix. Because Guy Hudson is dead, there is no known DNA source for Guy. They tested Felix's hair versus a hair sample sent from the Roottrees. It's listed as Jane Doe because it wasn't collected in person, but the Roottree company let them know it was from Bonnie Kellogg, Guy Hudson's sister. This is why it says paternal aunt. The left and right sets of numbers are essentially signatures that perfectly match the DNA of the two people in question and nobody else. That way the test works is that if a certain parts of the signature are shared, it's very likely two people are related. But she threw away the Bonnie Kellogg stuff. Right? Child Jane Doe. Incorrect, because alleged paternal aunt Jane Doe. But here, Bonnie Kellogg. Okay. He was not tested against Bonnie Kellogg. He is not a fucking Roottree. Because it would have said it. Right? Okay. Before I fill anyone in, because I don't want the game to end before I get everything. Let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Alleged paternal aunt, Bonnie Kellogg. So this is a big red flag. And the child is listed as Jane Doe, which means the child's DNA wasn't tested, wasn't collected. I see. And what the fuck is the hint here? So this one down here, this last clue has to be a periodical, right? Because they're sorted by type. Okay. What were all the periodicals I've looked at? Company services. What was the other one that I found her from? Was she on this page? Rubie Legal Enterprises. Law firm that had been hired by Roottree Candy Company. The company is named after its head lawyer, Rubie Sprott. Can't find anything. Complicit in a cover-up. Hired outside counsel. Yeah, this is how I found Cicely Sanchez. Is there anything about this? I'm not seeing anything there. Oh, did I do this wrong? I did. Okay. Clark, Rafferty, LaRue, as well as Rubie Spratt and her company, Rubie Legal Enterprises. Oh, yeah, there was another. Yeah, there's another one here. Interesting. Okay. Were featured in Business Watch after the company took over as keepers of the Clancy Trust. There's an article about that process that interviews both Clark and Rubie. It seems that Rubie actually approached the Roottrees sometime in late March, after the Rootree rift, but well before Roottreemania. That's fucked up. That means she knew something. An accomplished but relatively low-profile lawyer, she offered to work for very little money so long as she could be a public face to build her reputation. The family quickly jumped on this chance, as many family members often attempt to spend as little as possible to keep their shares of the Clancy Trust as high as possible. After looking over the Clancy Trust more carefully than anyone had in years, Rubie came to the conclusion Clancy Edward Rootree's implementation was not legally sound. There would be constant legal challenges without some modifications. Family decided to put her in charge of the trust, both legally and as public face, to prevent further issues. Her first move as a sort of trial run before she was even hired permanently was to help them draft a public statement accepting Sam into the family and declaring what they'd begin to address the Clancy Trust. This went quite well. They officially hired her in early April. Rubie Legal is now in charge of many financial aspects of the company, including verifying any claims to the trust, organizing various charitable causes such as scholarships. Actually, I'm going to delete that. She literally is the mastermind. Okay. And this was this one, right? Then what are like these last fucking 2 pieces? What are these last 2 pieces? Fucker, I know you are not a root tree. I know that it has been fully fucked. One star out of 7, more poser than my action. Dirty Davey. 5 P's actual name. Birth name was David Fellows. 5 P's. New evidence that confirmed her story. Cover of News Time. I have no idea what I'm missing here. Yes, I can jump. White men can't jump. The movie on his 17th birthday, which would have been in 1994. That's such like a weird piece of info because I just like don't know how that's relevant literally at fucking all. Just a dumb kid. Nope. Dirty devil. Why do I keep accidentally missing the last letter of everything? Okay. 5P is popular and attractive enough that even though his music is not targeted towards teen girls, they seem to be paying attention anyways. While he hasn't done any interviews with the magazine, they've listed him amongst the hunky huddies for the past few months with small bios that tell you various facts about him. This includes his real name, David, his birthday, February 9th, 1977. Literally. There's no way. She wasn't even fucking employed. Guy wouldn't even start taking over until 1978. So he wasn't even... He was born before they got together. So he's not a fucking Roottree. Are you kidding me? A letter to the editor also claims it's not possible that he was born in 1977, as he claimed on the song called 17 Magazine that he turned 17. He claimed on a song called 17 Magazine that that he turned 17 in 1992. The editor responds with a statement that they've reached out to his agent. Yeah, so he would have been 1990. It would have been 1994. "17 Magazine," sometimes referred to as 17 Magazine, is the title of an unreleased and controversial song by Dirty Davey. There's mentions of it on a few sites claiming it was on the first release of his first mixtape, but it was removed. There's no audio or visual evidence of it existing, but there are independent accounts from people who have claimed to have heard it and do generally line up. According to their recollection, it was about many different loosely connected occurrences of the number 17, mostly violent. Intro states it was written on Davey's 17th birthday and involved a fictional but glorified series of murders at a fashion show for a teenage magazine with similar names named to the song title. The person doing the violence was apparently trying to beat Dahmer's high score. Jeffrey Dahmer had pleaded guilty to killing 16 people in 1992. That is fucked up. Also, again, how? Due to major acts of gun violence in schools earlier this year and the subsequent backlash against violent music and video games, it is generally considered in very poor taste to bring it up. Most of the people that enjoy mentioning it online are either trolls trying to shock people or come from the morbidly curious corners of the internet. Fuck yes. Okay. So... okay. Oop, that wasn't the one I meant to do. 17 magazines. Let's see if we can find this in, like, Music Time Monthly or whatever. Nope. Okay. That's fine. Is this a family tree puzzle game? Yes. We're trying to look back through records to assemble and clarify a family tree. What is the one clue here? I'm just quickly reading over this because I've read it over 27 times. Many of the younger Rootrees were found by following a complex rabbit hole through a conspiracy site. November Rootree was really difficult to place. Ron and Robbie. Did I actually get all of the... I think I did. Didn't I? Yeah, I did. Okay. Brat's Original Hopes. Okay. What could I possibly be missing from this yet? I mean, I'm confident he's not a fucking Roottree, but what is the last thing to look up? We have 3 pieces of evidence. This is all the actual evidence. So this has to be a search of some kind, right? Or it's a periodical. Ruby Sprat, Fountain of Youths, Ruby Sprat, Ruby Legal Enterprises, Roottree Rift. I don't think there's anything else here. Is there anything else here? Felix Fellows was a Roottree. Bonnie Kellogg. Sprat Company, Ruby Legal Enterprises were Business Watch after company took over the keepers of the Clansett Trust. Maybe it's part of the Clansett Trust? Clothing Company Root. This means nearly every Roottree can potentially have a say in the company's high-level operations. Conflict between Ron and Rubie Roottree. Wrote the trust. Yeah, we've already gotten this one. Sam's book revealed this to the public, but did not go over well. Clark Lafferty LaRue assured Sam's family would get their share to facilitate this inheritance as per Rubie Leaguer Enterprises. We already have all this info. What is the one clue here? We have all the potential new Roottrees. Is there just like something stupid I haven't looked at? Family. Took umbrage to the book Vindictive. More traditional analysts. Indecision-itis, which we know was like an SNL skit. Yeah. Roottree Rift. I think I've already searched this. 3 press releases from the Roottree Candy Company. There were 6 pieces referred to as Roottree Rift due to the top. Oh, I read the top button as popped up. The clear conflicts between them. First was fairly standard, stated no one was present at Roottree Company, but the entire family was made aware of the release of the book and that they would be meeting as soon as possible. Second release was emailed to business newspapers 3 hours later. It announced that after a vote, Ron Roottree would be taking over temporarily as interim president. So went on to state that Ron was aware of the book, had verified the claims within, and would look into compensating Miss Madsen and her family immediately. So the company lawyers would be taking immediate steps in the family to revisit the Clansed Trust terms to make sure nothing like this could happen again. This is the idea. This is it. Ron wanted to revise the Clansed Trust to get Robbie out. And Roottree would take him to the company's first joint presidents. It was also stated that any compensation plan would be based on a stringent verification process. And that's the last one. Okay. So now I'm pretty confident that I can do this. Is a blood relative. And she's a nurse. Oh, oops. Cashier? What is she? She works in retail? Department store? I don't remember what she is. There's another picture of her? What am I missing? No, I have everything related to her. Oh, there's that. Okay. What am I missing here? She's a nurse. I'm 100% confident in that. Daniel Newton, that's correct. Watts Beatrice, cashier. Am I missing something? I have all 15 smoking guns. He is not a Roottree. What is her job? Works at a department store. Yeah. I guess, I don't know. I guess she's not a cashier. I guess it doesn't specify. Do I not have her name right? Shouldn't this just fucking lock in? Did I get one person wrong? I don't think I'm missing any, am I? When does it lock in? When does it tell me? Did I have to submit? Oh, I'm ready. Duh, there's a fucking button right here. I'm so stupid. These last two are optional. You can summon Sam and Clark whenever you wish. However, it will end your search and reveal the truth. Make sure you're ready. I'm so stupid. Oh no, did it get rid of her fucking picture? Hold on. I really don't want it to fuck this up for me. So, give me a second. All right, rerun time just a second to make sure that her picture was selected so that I get credit for putting the pictures where they need to be. You did it. Family tree complete.
Beatrice and Courtney May. Clark, can you swing another test against Bonnie's DNA?
This time I'll be sure to have them verify both samples in person.
1 week later.
Using the family tree you filled out, as well as DNA tests, we were able to uncover the truth behind all the inconsistencies. Clark's handling the business, but I've come to thank you and fill you in on everything we've learned. Buckle, actually...
Oh? Actually, that's an
That's
understatement.
the kind of time we've been having. Like I said, buckle up. Maybe grab some popcorn. We'll start with Guy Hudson. Guy had a frankly ridiculous number of potential children. What shocked me is how many graduated from potential to confirmed. We can even prove he was aware of them. The smoking gun was how he used company money to pay off a lot of women.
Yep.
He hid it with a method inspired by his idol, Elias. 5-piece flavors. The flavors he was paying to research were a ruse.
I literally didn't even put this shit together either. I fucked up again. I missed this clue for a second time. Are you kidding me?
He developed flavors based on the initials of the women he was
Oh my
was
god.
really stupid, considering one of their names started with X.
This is so dumb. How did I miss it again? It literally said it in the text. It said the 5-piece flavors were his legacy. And so he tried to do the same thing. Fuck. Oh, God, I'm such a moron. How did this happen twice in a row?
Let's start with Christine. Guy was paying her under the name Caviar, but there were some other clues.
Oh,
James was born 9 months after Zach's party.
I'm such an idiot.
Christine was there with Guy, and when she got pregnant, she panicked. Steve stepped up. He even turned it into one of his recipe stories.
Yeah, this was porn. I could tell.
Not all of Guy's affairs led to offspring. He may have slept with Robin Martin, but she didn't have children, so we'll never know. Also, not every child of Guy's affair partners were his. Robert Garland was born after his parents had already moved to Boston.
Yep, this was easy to put together.
Skipping Beatrice for now. Up next is Leng Xin Yu. When Guy showed up in China, she was into America. And Americans. Dare I say redheads, even? When she got pregnant, her father paid key genes to fake IVF. They claimed her sister was unable to conceive. But her sister and Jerry had their own son, Mark.
I didn't even notice that. I just figured that the IVF was a lie and they covered it up. I didn't even notice this detail.
Sonia Alves was soon after. Nia was married at a very young age to a much older husband. She resented him. I don't blame her. They allegedly spent no time together in private. Guy was in Brazil during Christmas 1979. It's the only Christmas not in the records. Flavio was born 9 months later, and like the others, Guy started paying Sonia.
They literally didn't even put that shit together either. I mean, I knew that happened, but I didn't put together the actual timeline. I couldn't really keep it clear in my head. Like, that part is the most vague and the most difficult part for me, was juggling all of the vague dates. I knew the Christmas part had something to do with it, but I didn't realize that picture was taken in Brazil.
Last was Susan Ford, hired to translate for Guy's overseas trips. It's easy to read into Guy's donation to her school, but there's no definitive proof there.
I mean, that was easy.
She and Guy were witnessed together near the end of his life. Susan's husband was convinced he couldn't be the father of her daughters. Guy, though, paid double. The price of twins.
Didn't even notice this part. This would have made the game so much easier if I just fucking noticed these. I literally wrote off his bad fucking thing. I wrote off his flavors because I thought they sucked. I thought they were just a horrible bomb.
So, what about 5 Ps? Felix Fellow's mother, Joanna, doesn't have a 5 pieces flavor. On top of that, his story doesn't really add up. His mother already left the company by the time Guy became president, and his lyrics indicate he was born sometime around 1975.
Yep. I figured this out.
Alone, that wouldn't necessarily prove it. But there are some suspicious connections between Felix and the company's current lawyer, Rubie Spratt. They both grew up in Portland, in foster care, and according to the local paper, they definitely knew one another. Rubie was the one who approached the Roottrees to begin with. It was all a setup.
I fucking got this shit. I sniffed her out.
Rubie and Felix saw my book's challenge to the Clancet Trust as an opportunity. His mother really had worked for Roottree, and Rubie was a respected lawyer. She exploited my family's greed, worked her way into control of the trust, and ensured Felix got a piece. But they made some mistakes along the way. If you look at the 2 DNA tests that Rubie handled, they were both supposedly tested against Bonnie Hudson. But the 2 signatures that should both represent Bonnie don't match. After Clark and I confronted her, Rubie lawyered up. Ironic, I know. We suspect Rubie had Donatico test Felix against his own mother's DNA. He had a hairbrush of hers. They sent the female sample in remotely.
Yep.
On the second test, Bonnie's sample was tested locally, but Courtney May's was not. Rubie's been throwing away samples. We think she sent her own hair instead of Courtney May's, but it could have been anyone's. Rubie and Felix were in cahoots. As for why, they were both advocates of wealth redistribution. A noble effort. But once they controlled the family fortune, they became just as greedy as the worst members of my family. The money corrupted them. They were so eager to personally wield the wealth for their own cause that they sabotaged any other claims.
Damn straight.
That finally brings us to Anonymom, a.k.a. Beatrice Watts. Her tales of Guy's parties and payoffs were true. She even approached Rubie before 5Ps was on news time. Rubie used Beatrice's truths to make Felix's lies feel real, then ruined the DNA test so that Beatrice looked phony in the public court of opinion. I feel worst for her in all of this. While Rubie and Felix stole the show, there were some other potential new family members as well. Miracle Roottree was less of an open and shut case. That said, it's very likely he had a son with Mary Beth Clementine, not Stuart. Mary Beth adopted him before she ever set foot in Butler County. That leaves Mark. The timeline fits. He showed up about 9 months after Mary Beth visited Miracle.
Yep.
And the basket baby story is a bit too convenient. If that's not enough on its own, he was also bailed out by the sister of Edith Roottrie,
Yes.
Miracle Jr.'s wife, after she changed her name to win that silly contest. Our best guess is that Mark was told by his mother whose son he was, and used that fact to put some pressure on Miracle Jr. We have no real proof of that, but nothing else really makes sense for why they'd be connected in that way.
Yep.
Elias's affair was the most ambiguous. Gwyneth was able to coerce Elias to do things he wouldn't have otherwise done, like pressure to include me in the family. My son even mentioned them arguing about someone named Beth. Combined with Gwyneth's lisp, it's possible the name was actually Bess. Unfortunately, all we know about Bess Williams is that she wrote his book and died not long after, leaving her only son an orphan. The timeline fits with Wildcat, but there's no record if she had any other relationship. Honestly, I wouldn't say we had enough evidence either way. I wouldn't be surprised if Elias cheated. Of course, I'm a bit biased. Regardless, we haven't gotten in touch with any of the Williams clan yet.
Where's my piece of the Clanted Trust? I did all this work.
That means we haven't been able to do a DNA test. As Clark mentioned, from here on out, all of our DNA tests will be in person.
Line me up. I want a
Parties.
second share.
Lastly, we have a bit of a curveball. Ron Roottree isn't related to us by blood. Gwyn was definitely pregnant, so it's likely Robbie is. When Ron and Robbie went to visit their mother at the end of her life, something changed. Additionally, there have been a few rumors circling around Ron. RR Productions canceled The Guys Like Us at the same time. Ron's wife Penelope began doing benefits for Huntington's disease, stating that she had become familiar with it. Huntington's is the same disease that Gwyn's former co-star Leslie Florence had. It's passed from parent to child. It can't skip a generation. Because Gwyn and Wild Bill didn't have Huntington's, and Ron seems to, it's impossible Gwyn was his mother. I recently confirmed all this with Ron.
Yep.
At the end of her life, Gwyn told Ron the story. Leslie and Bill had an affair the same year Leslie learned she had Huntington's. Leslie got pregnant.
This part's sad.
Leslie wasn't likely to survive to see her child grow up. And even if she did, she didn't want to be a burden. She begged Gwyn and Wild Bill to adopt her child. Gwyn did. Mere weeks after she found out she was having her own son, she also took in Ron. Wild Bill was a problem. Unreliable and a serial adulterer. Gwyn divorced him and never saw him again. Gwyn had already told Starlet she was pregnant, so it never really made waves when people saw her with a child in Paris. There was gossip during her divorce when she was discovered to be pregnant again. In actuality, it was the final months of her only pregnancy.
Yep.
To lay low, she stayed in Paris long enough that even her own family never had reason to question the timeline. It's one heck of a story, and frankly, nobody could be expected to piece the timeline together.
That was one of the easier ones to end up doing.
Not with what few mentions of Gwyn's past have survived. But the Huntingtons itself? That's proof. Ron suing Robbie to remove him from the Clancy Trust was a huge moment in my story, and a major catalyst for this entire investigation. Finding out that it's been pretty much backwards this whole time has been a bit surreal. So that's where we're at. Looking over the information you sent us was invaluable. You got everything absolutely correct.
I did it. I did it, fam. I'm a fucking genius.
Why did we even bother hiring a team? You figured it all out solo. All this information, this entire story. It's a lot, in more ways than one. Some of it has the potential to destroy marriages and ruin relationships. We're handling it all very, very carefully. but we couldn't have gotten here without you. And with that, I guess our tale has finally, truly come to an end. What a strange one it was. No words can express how grateful I am to you for untangling this mess. Honestly, I've had enough of my family's eccentricities and scandals for one lifetime. I imagine you have as well. And if not, well, there's always Elias's and Gwyneth's brothers and sisters.
Attention.
Do not tell me. Game designed by Robin Ward. Okay, so Roottreemania was written by a different person. That's still really cool. I liked this game a lot. This game was crazy. I will absolutely play whatever other stuff this team comes up with. I really dug this. It was a really cool game. There we go. So that was the Roottrees Are Dead. I can't believe I did all of it. The Incident at Galley House is their next game, and you know what? Fuck yeah, I'll wishlist that. I hope you all had a lot of fun watching me go through this. I kind of spoiled everything, so I guess that's a bummer. So go wishlist The Incident at Galley House and show the devs some love. Anyway, that was Roottrees Are Dead. Thanks for watching.